hardly moved.
Look at the air! Team 3 gets there. Navy coming after Global, and Global gets filled into luck.
Absolutely hard charging here. The conditions absolutely ideal for some hard fun.
Side by side, and almost a bit of a love tap between Maritimo.
Oh, look at that. Right through the roots of tail of the Rosewall's taking a huge flight.
Oh, the Salamini's boys have wiped out. Welcome to beautiful Newcastle in New South Wales. The Steel City has an unbelievable array of sport for both enthusiasts and competitors as well, whether it's on the water or certainly on the lawn as well. A great social city, a proud NRL city, the home of the Newcastle Knights, and just a aquatic playground like so many of the rounds that we visit. The city is magnificent. It's just 2 hours drive north on the F3 from Sydney, and it really does have some amazing coastline, some wonderful water sports, and some beautiful scenic sights. Make sure you make Newcastle a place on your map, as these guys have, the Fryer Boys from Mackay in North Queensland. Let's meet some of the contenders in this year's championship. We're in the pits, meeting some of the stars right now.
I've stepped up this year from the 525 class into the Maritimo Extreme class. And look, hey, first time in the boat this season for me. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we can pull off a few wins this season, be good. Roscoe sitting next to me, many years of experience. So, it's going to be a great year for us.
Your 525, obviously, there's an extra 500 horsepower in the Class 1 class. Top speed is increased by about probably about another 30 mile an hour, it can be, depending on the conditions. The whole boat performs completely different. It's a new class, new world, and they've got to, grow into that position now.
The 525 class is a tremendous class, and I've probably never had to work so hard with a big boat with the smaller engines. So we're back to Class 1. The boat carries the NZ1, so we'll see how we go this year.
Well, we're coming back again, Andrew, with the Super Cup 1000 category as we campaigned last year and the year before. So we're ready to go. Pretty much the off-season for us has been the on-season. We haven't made made that many changes to the boat, but we're good here, ready to go against Global Racing.
Team 3 coming after Global. They're spending more time out of the water than they are in it. Global.
Oh, there's the speed difference
Oh,
there.
that's like a big shark just monstering. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Team 3 boat is definitely going to put us under a lot of pressure. But we're going to be running hard today and try and run with the Class 1 boats as well.
Since Harvey Bay, we took out the championship up there, so we're hoping this year to maybe do a back-to-back. The hardest part of it is that every other competitor in our category can win on any day because they're all extremely good crews, extremely good boats, and they're all very professional. So it's really going to be a tough season this year.
We had a DNF in Coffs Harbour when we caught fire, which really put us out of the points, and it was a struggle to try and get back. But we're happy. We're still learning the new engines we got on last year, and we're still progressing. So a few mods for this year, and we'll progress even further.
Well, last year I raced the Lona with Carl Wall, and we won the Supercat 400 Championship. I then imported my boat from Florida, and I've now got a new co-driver this year, Simon Isherwood, who's been around since about 1987 racing and pretty much a legend in Australian offshore racing, and he's been good enough to throttle the boat with me this year, and today's the first day we're racing it, so hopefully it's going to be a great day for us.
No, we've still got the same setup as last year. We were pretty quick last year, so we've left everything alone. We're going against 88. He's our tough competitor this year. Phantom as well, so it's going to be a tough race this year.
2014, we are hoping for a very positive start to the season. 2013 was good with a win at Mackay, but from there we had a few boat issues through the rest of the year. So 2014, we are looking forward to a good run.
Look at Maritimo here, chasing down the championship, battling side by side right now. They're coming.
I tell you what, they don't have any lack of competition out here at the moment. Bring Team 3 side by side with them. This is fantastic stuff. Oh, this is the Maritimo's new boat, which they want to send overseas next year to race in the Class 1 series. So it's a bit of a testing ground here this year for the Maritimo and the crews. So look, hopefully the boat can perform. I'm sure it will. It's showing good performance at the moment. So, we should be up there.
Well, Roscoe's a real good competitor. Me and him gel together really well. We've got young Travis in there. He's young and fearless, so yeah, they're competition big time.
Darren and Muddy have been together for a while in that boat. Roscoe and I are new to this, so they're going to just take us a bit to bond together, Roscoe and I, and once we get that, I think we'll be on fire.
A lot of it's finding out the faults of the new boat, and if they can beat us, then they're starting to get in the money.
The motors are going in at twin 750, so we've got another 500 horsepower on there. We've got more weight in the boat, we've got new rudders, new props, so it's a completely new setup. So today's all about making sure that we get around the course and finish the race and up the right way.
This boat came to us in a bit of a neutral state, so the 525 Mercury's just had to find its own little position to make the boat credible. So we've moved the engines back 150 to 200 mil, and we think that's what the boat needed to sort of sit it down in the back and sort of lift it up at the front and give us good drive line speed. So that's what we've done, and we've balanced the boat now, so we're good to go. Can't wait.
Chris, who's been running the boat for 3 seasons now, has made some modifications on the back of the boat. He's actually put a step in the back of the boat. We've brought a few Kiwi secrets over with us as well, and hopefully we'll get some results.
When we brought it out, the boat was pretty much race ready because it was actually the Talbot excavation boat in America. It's won 2 world championships, and Kyler Talbot, who was the owner, he had the boat running absolutely magnificently. So it's pretty much, we brought it out here. We've done some modifications, a lot of testing, and today hopefully we're going to do really well. But our main mission today is to finish the race. Not break any parts, but it's our first race in the boat together, and yeah, really do our best.
We do have a selection of props, 3 or 4 different ones we could run, but it'll suit today because in the harbour it's smooth, so we need the speed, they're turning really well, but outside you've got to have that torque to get yourself over the waves.
Saracen closing in. Nibble, you might see Davina reach out and try and undo the tape.
More 100-mile-an-hour tape than the V8 supercars, Wade.
We took the engines off. We've put a little cutout in the bottom of the hull to give us a little bit of more straight line hull, we'll put it that way. Give us a better ride in the corners, and it seems to be working. A little bit more testing to do, but we're very happy.
We've had quite a few issues to address in the off-season. We've had some pretty severe fuel issues. We have definitely overcome those. Mechanically wise, our boat has been excellent. It has been fast. So all we need to do is keep it circulating for an hour and we should be at the front.
We've been doing full engine checks. We've checked over all the electrics and checked all the bulkheads, make sure there's nothing broken from a hard race last year.
They say it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. And this little team, man, they push hard. Lona from Harvey Bay on the gas.
Well, this is the first time we've been out. We've changed the rudders from when we done a little bit of a test in the Broadwater down at the Gold Coast, and we've changed the rudder. Yesterday we had a bit of an electrical issue that was fixed, and today they just went out for a quick squirt with the new rudder on. Can't really get a good feel for it because it's that rough out there at the moment. It was just a matter of going out there and making sure that both motors went and got a bit of pace about it, just to have a bit of a knockdown on it really.
Well, obviously the 525 class, you end up getting a sore arm from just pushing the throttle and holding it flat out the whole time. We virtually just never move it if we can help it, because the other guy next to us, he won't move his, so he'll beat you otherwise.
Maritimo on the gas, pushing the throttle really hard here, Dave.
Absolutely, in tough conditions, these boys are charging hard. What a fantastic run.
This class, you've got to be a bit more tentative. Once you go from 110 mile an hour to 140 mile an hour, it's a lot bigger mistake.
Like I say, I'm just getting used to this boat. It is something else to drive. Like, it is unbelievable to drive. So once I get used to that, we can get in those corners faster and faster and faster. I think we'll be right up there.
Really, these days, it's all about going around corners as fast as you can. So we're developing that in the new boat. We were in Dubai recently racing, and we're actually going into the corners at 139 mile an hour. So we're trying to achieve that here now. I tell you, the first couple of times, you sort of look at it and you go, this is what we've got to do to get it round. The brain just shuts down. You just go, you can't do this. It's like hopping in a race car at 130 mile an hour and just turning the wheel left. And it's amazing what they can do.
We've got some new props we brought in from the States, so they're performing quite well. So hopefully we can have a good run, but it's going to be lumpy out there. I mean, they're saying 25 to 30 knot winds, so it's going to be really rough.
The big thing today is going to be safety when you're out in that ocean. The wind's picked up from the south. which means there's going to be a fair amount of chop out there. So no one's going to be going for top speed today. It'll all be about survival in that crosswind chop out the heads of Newcastle Harbour.
Oh, she is pretty tough, but we do like it rough because it keeps it well even. You know, all the less horsepower boats can keep up with the more horsepower boats.
Offshore racing's, you know, going outside and having a go in the rough water as well as the calm. So it's two different conditions today. So, you know, you've got to be careful with your prop selection and gear selection. And I think we've made the right choice, but only time will tell.
Today's setup's going to mean everything, really. Flat calm in here, very nasty outside. So we'll see who's got the best one.
What's to take to win it is just total consistency and a little bit of boat speed. So we believe we have it this year.
Well, there's only us and Global Racing this season. Two of the boats have moved up to Super Cat Extreme this year, so it's going to be a big season. There's probably 5 or 6, 7 inboard boats, but the Super Cat 1000 will be Global Racing in Team 3. There's a couple more boats coming on later in the season, and we think that we'll be able to. We won't mix it with the Super Cat Extreme guys. They've just got too much more horsepower, but it'll be pretty consistent, and I'm expecting that all boats are going to put on a good display for the public as we go around Australia this year.
Well, we would like to win the championship, but we really want to just have a very successful year and at least, you know, complete the year and the season without, you know, too many problems.
We're all very, very close in top speed, so it's going to be a great category with 5 of us battling out this year, so every little inch counts.
Time now for the pole position shootout here at Newcastle. I've got to say, Dave, the conditions are very inclement, to say the very least. Have a look at that. A lot of rain in the area. The Loner, how about this? Tied for first place in Super Cat 400. The Loner and Team 88 doing a great job to be tied.
Yeah, this is a great effort, isn't it? We've got the father and son combination there, Wade, of Michael and Griff Ethel in the Team 88. That's a relatively new boat. It's only been on the water last season and this season, so they're doing a great job to keep up. Super Cat 600 as well, and Saracen, first place, the Victorian boys, getting it done.
Anthony DeFina and Brett Lerman, the Spirit of Mackay, tied for the second place actually in Super Cat 600 with 119.48 k's. You can see the conditions very testing, to say the least. And here is Quasi, the second part of that occasion, that particular situation, with coastal bolts and fasteners on board, and also Hog's Breath Cafe.
Looking at Con and Con on board the SUV Dodge Ram now, tied into third place, these guys, and gee, Con's running Con Senior running the glasses. They're looking very astute.
How about this new look, this new boat, the Mancini Cosmetics entry, tied for third place in Super Cat 600, 117.77 k's an hour. We're going to talk about a little bit of rivalry building up in that as we now take a look at Super Cat 1000 in first place, Team 3. These guys are tough already.
Steve Jellick and Mike Beale on board there, and then we're looking at the Global Racing. They came in second spot in the 1,000 horsepower Super Cat, the big MTI, doing a fantastic job as well.
Maritimo Newcastle got the win. They're in first place, a speed of 151 k's an hour. Navy Health didn't go out though. They've got some problems. That's a concern.
We got second equal with Spirit of Mackay and just off the pace from Saracen, so we're happy. We've still got a little bit of work to go, and we're happy to be close racing. That is the best. That's when you have the most fun.
Qualifying, we got on the water a little bit late, so we only got really 1.5 laps in prior to the time commitments, but that was enough to give the boat a run, and we're very, very confident with the way it's running.
So conditions absolutely miserable. Die-hard fans lining the harbour here and trying to take shelter while the boys went at it in race 1. We're about to show you highlights thereof, and when you see conditions, oh man, that is not fun at all. Can imagine just how choppy it would be out in the open water, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite big out in the open ocean, although the rain tends to take the slight chop off the top, Wade. But this race has been shortened 10 minutes, so it was meant to be a 30-minute race, back to a 20-minute race, and the boys charge hard. And have a look at them going out into the big swell Maritimo. Darren Nicholson's seat broke out of the boat.
Man, that is scary, isn't it? So the guys obviously realising that safety needs to be a concern there. They pulled the boat up. Maritimo was rocking, was pretty well left for them to start their battle out into picking up some big championship points, but Navy Health was running them down.
Yeah, they were, and certainly Maritimo had a problem. So Travis Thompson and Ross Wilton with an engine drama there, and that really left the door open for the young Fryer boys.
Team 3 had a great little battle going for outright with Navy Health. Bearing in mind, these guys are now in separate classes, and we're going to talk more about that in race number 2. Navy Health went on to get the win in Supercat Extreme, and Team 3 were able to score the win in Supercat 1000 in atrocious conditions for both teams and certainly for spectators and even officials as well. It is belting down here in Newcastle, and that really did make it tough. Saracen, strong result in Supercat 600. They took the win, and a great result for the Loner. Supercat 400, their winners, as well as the Navy Health boys look to try and grab that checkered flag. Let's have a look at your Navy Health results right now, and it was Navy Health taking the win from Maritimo Australia, and dramas, unfortunately, for Maritimo Newcastle with real issues there. Team 3 scoring the win in Supercat 1000 from Global Racing in that second spot. We go on to see how Saracen conquered Supercat 600. Very strong result for them over SUV Dodge Ram and Mancini Cosmetics in third. Spirit of Mackay and problems, unfortunately, for Quasi. We go to the final leaderboard for Navy Health. Sees the Loner getting the win in Supercat 488 offshore racing. It's going to be a good battle this year between those two.
Yeah, I'm glad the course changed up a bit, because outside there it's not much swell. It's just really ugly. It's very hard to read the sea, and yeah, very hard on the gear too. A lot of air time out there, more out of the water than in it, so quite rough.
And you went out for that sightseeing lap. You did go out to the ocean. What was it like?
Yeah, a bit rough. We sort of did a quick test this morning, so we knew sort of what to expect. But yeah, it got rougher as the day went on before we'd gone out there, and yeah, totally different track to when we were out there the first time, that's for sure.
Yeah, we went out to do the sighting lap with all the other boats, and it was obvious as soon as we got out their heads that it was not going to be a fun day out there. The visibility was bad. The seas were rough, but the main thing that was the worry was the visibility with the rain. Seeing turn buoys, seeing other boats. So that's why the race director decided to shorten up the course and just bring it back towards the opening of the harbour here.
Roscoe just passed us, and then he slowed down a little bit. We both ran at about the same speed. We were a little bit lost trying to find the marker. We hit a couple, and we were a long, probably the furthest I've been in the air, landed, and then I saw my driver lurch forward, and I realised that he'd busted his seat to pieces, so slow down or hurt him. If we hadn't busted some of the componentry, we could have probably fixed it, but on the safe side of it, if you don't fix it correctly, you can really hurt somebody.
We'll take a break here and come back with plenty more. The Australian Offshore Superboat Championship resumes after this break. Welcome back to the Australian Offshore Superboat Championship. It's round 1. It's a massive event this weekend. Con Salamides is right amongst it all and very excited, as you'd expect.
Oh, well, we're down here at the Fuelorama Festival. It's the first round of the offshore superboats. Car show, ute muster, food, family fun. It's everything to do with high octane Fuelorama. It's water, it's land-based, it's just everything for the family. We've got this beautiful Cadillac just behind me, a nice red one, and there's just HSVs, there's rat rods, there's bikes, there's some good looking Harleys up here, all sorts of cars and bikes for the family. Muscle cars, American and Australian muscle cars, and English muscle cars as well this year. We're actually going to be turning around right here in the harbour, right in front of the pits, so it's just going to be awesome. Short run outside, going to be a little rough and choppy, nice flow back into the harbour. Just going to be spectacular over at Stockton, and also spectacular here from the pits in Newcastle foreshore. Well, we're going to keep our cowls on this year, and we're going to finish the championship up the top.
Appropriate. We should see a big Dodge Ram behind that man. He lives and breathes them, that's for sure. Well, not exactly typical Newcastle conditions here right now. The surf is even hard work for these guys, so you can imagine what it's going to be like with 1,000 horsepower plus boats as the Mancini Cosmetics girls They look remarkably dry, considering.
They did look dry, and they seem to have some of the product on board as well, Wado. So that's terrific. And hey, let's not forget Fuelarama, what Con was chatting with us about. What a fantastic festival. A little bit of a shame. A few of the boys are running around with the chamois. I hope they've waxed those cars up.
This foreshore has really gone ahead in leaps and bounds. Remarkable how much it's built up over the years. Great crowd here today, considering the conditions were so horrendous in race number 1. Race number 2, round 1 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championship. And it's Team 3 leading the way, and we're on it now, heading out to the open water.
What a fantastic shot, Wade, as the flag drops and the you-know-what stops. We've got boats everywhere. You can throw a doona over them at the moment. In fact, the little 400 horsepower boat, the Loner, just leading a couple of 600 horsepower category boats. The Mancini boat and Saracen having a ding-dong battle. They're both out of Victoria. The Mancini boat, first ever race, Wado. So I'm really interested to see how that boat goes with Brendan Price and Simon Jeffries with the third on board.
On board with the father and son team of Con and Con. Salamidi separated only by one of the letter N's. We see Con Jr. with the wheel in his hand. This requires, if you're visiting us for the first time, 2 particular people to operate these boats. They're very busy. One throttleman, one guy that has to steer the boat. Look at Mancini Cosmetics through the middle here.
Oh, splitting the week here. It's a 33-foot dug right hull with a pair of 280 horsepower Merc Racing engines on. Very similar boat to the boat that's next to it, in fact, the Spirit of Mackay. So both those boats, the earlier model is the Spirit of Mackay, and then the late model boat, the pink boat, the Mancini, which has only just come out to Australia. So I'm really excited to see how this boat goes. But I tell you, Wade, here we go, out into the rough and hard water outside the harbour.
Isn't the Loner doing a tremendous job? The boat out closest to the chopper is a 400 compared to this 600. Now 600 and 400 meaning horsepower, and the Loner is doing a fantastic job. A much smaller, lighter craft now where it starts to get heavy going.
Now Carl Wall is throttling the Loner boat as he did last year, Wade, but it's very, very exciting to have Bruce Sanders back into offshore powerboat racing after a hiatus. He's been driving circuit boats for a couple of seasons now, and now he's back into the 400 horsepower category. Oh, how close do you want to get to the channel marker, Wade?
That was massive then for Chris Hanley.
That would have just peeled the wrap off the side of the boat.
Would have peeled off Mark Gilbert's face, I would imagine too, because he wouldn't have been happy seeing that happen. The Brig, number 20, Team 3, those guys were unbelievable last year. Let's have a look at just how physical. Wow.
With the water.
They're getting smashed around. Actually got a bit of water inside the cockpit. Just then as well, the boys have fighter pilot goggles and helmets. And really, it is so physical out there.
Yeah, Wayne Belder and Chris Hanley, the 2 Kiwis in the global racing boat. And we've got a problem, Wade, on the inside there. Maritimo with drama.
You don't think that the Loner is grinning from ear to ear right now, going past a boat that is worth probably 4 or 5 times that of his, as we see Global charging through the foreshore here right now. This is into the harbour. They really do get a great crowd in this spot. It's a tremendous place to watch the boats up very close and personal.
Oh, tight.
They missed that a bit further then.
Well, they did, but did you see Team 3 in behind them? So they're just making sure that there was no room for Team 3 Brig Racing to sneak up the outside of them there. And you can see they've actually dropped to the inside as Mancini comes through. New boat on the scene. Beautiful looking bit of gear, Wade.
The Summer Tan, number 29. Now tell me, there's a bit of scuttlebutt getting around the pits. There's a bit of rivalry between this new boat and another team.
Well, this 600 horsepower category is the biggest category in offshore powerboat racing at the moment. Great class, and yeah, there's plenty of angst between this team and the SUV Dodge Ram team. It is on. No love, Wado, no love.
Chris Hanley and Wayne Valder on board right now with the Hi-Tec Oils logo as we see Team 3 coming on now. The Brig craft just charging through the water to the left of your screen. Nothing in it between these two and plenty of heavy ocean.
Oh, this is really big, mate. And you can see Brig just running a little bit wide there. The number 6 drives on the back of this MTI boat make it turn really, really well. And you can see there, that's illustrated with them on pole position and just the Team 3 boat running a little bit wide. It's just back to the 525 battles, the 1,000 horsepower battles that we saw all last year. Beautiful, close, fast racing from these 525 boats. It's just really good parity, and unfortunately only the 2 of them running here today, but still, again, side by side, on board with Saracen now.
Yeah, Anthony Lafina and Brett Lerman. Now, Dave, there's been a few driver and throttleman changes amongst teams during the off-season. There's a lot of new combinations, including that boat right there.
Yeah, that's right, Global Racing, and we spoke about the boys, so the Kiwis on board, Chris Hanley and Wayne Velder, and of course Wayne Velder ran the Pro Floors boat last year, as we saw the boat over from New Zealand and running here in Australia. Now they're running the Australian boat, the boat owned by Big Mark Gilbert, and he's very, very excited to have such a quality crew on board his boat.
The Salamides boys running the big Newcastle motif down the side, the Sea Change Newcastle livery. They really do promote this event very, very strongly. Con, in particular, has made it really a personal thing. It's Maritimo limping in, and that's devastating for them.
That is very, very disappointing. Ross Willerton and Travis Thompson. So we've lost 2 Maritimo boats already, Wade. So very, very disappointing for Team Maritimo at the moment. But these guys, they're not worried about that. They're pushing hard out into the ocean. It is Global Racing. But meanwhile, the 600 horsepower battle continues down back into the harbour, and it is tight. This is a really tight turn for these offshore boats as well, as we watch Spirit of Mackay, Wade, and we've got the SUV Dodge Ram just trying to sneak up the inside of them. So a terrific battle going on in this category.
Here comes the Navy Health boys, the brothers from Mackay, the Fryer boys. There's always a connection to the Navy in some respect with this team, as there has been for several seasons. Look at the crowd. The cars are all parked up right away along the harbour here on both sides of it. And this really is a great chance to see this boat's up much closer than you get at some of the other rounds. And look at the eyes. Chris Hanley and Wayne Velder, plenty of concentration there.
Yeah, plenty of safety in these boats too, Wade. Have a look at that. We get a good illustration there. The roll cage in the boat in case the boat goes over. Both those guys are on a full-time air supply, so if the boat does go inverted and the cockpit fills with water, they can actually breathe for about half an hour, and they've got big long lines so they can actually... Oh, look, Stevie Jellick not too happy. In fact, he's having a few words to say about someone. I'd like to know who it was, Wade.
Doesn't look overly happy. Is there a problem with Navy Health? Just
hatch. The hatch is flapping. A flapping hatch isn't what you want, Wade.
No, the Sirocco Marine North brig entry, charging now. He did look unhappy before. Still doesn't look overly thrilled, does he?
No, Steve's an absolute consummate professional. I rate him absolutely highly. As you see, the difference between a big Super Cat and a 400 horsepower boat, as the boys just split Team 88 with Michael and Griff Ethel on board. But they are in fact running in second place in their category at the minute.
This boat continuing to impress on debut. Brenton Price and Simon Isherwood. You spoke earlier about that rivalry just lurking between SUV Dodge Ram and the Mancini Cosmetics number 29. Now we've got a different Super Cat class this year, Dave. Can you explain Super Cat Extreme as opposed to Super Cat 1000?
Yeah, Super Cat Extreme, Wade, is a category that's been brought in. The Team Maritimo really pushed for this class, and it's in offshore now. And I think it's a class that is a little bit closer to the international class of Class 1, and it's certainly allowing them to develop boats to head over to Europe and, be competitive over there. So I think it's a category that's here that's really a good test bed for Team Maritimo to take their equipment overseas and be competitive.
Just saw the Southport Yacht Club down the side of the SUV Dodge Ram here as it continues to charge underneath a very gloomy sky in Newcastle, New South Wales. A fantastic location for motorsport on many, many levels. Some great champions have come out of this particular city on a sporting level. Plus, if you go a little bit further out into the coalfields, a little place called Curry has developed some amazing motorsport talents. One known as Casey Stoner as a good example, but there have been some remarkable talents both aquatically and on circuit, on dirt, on lawn, and certainly in the NRL side of things as well.
Global Racing just down through the bottom turn. Now, this boat's a 39-foot MTI hull. It is a really, really nice bit of gear. It's one of my favourite boats on the circuit, owned by Mark Gilbert. It runs a Para Mercury number 6 outdrives and the 525 horsepower Mercury racing engines. That Navy Health cowling looks like it is about to fall off at any point in time, Wade, as they just sneak up the inside of the loaner there.
Will that be a problem?
Oh, look, obviously the cow's there for a reason and a purpose, but I don't think it'd be enough to stop them. It'd probably maybe affect the airflow into the cockpit. Probably the biggest thing that I would suggest might be an issue for them is all that salt water and salt air getting down all into the cockpit and all over the engines. Is probably the biggest drama they're going to have there if that comes off.
Here are the Ethel boys charging hard back out to the open water. You're watching round 1, race 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championship. To the left is Global Racing, and right in behind him, the boys that came on very strong in race number 1, despite the fact they missed the top 10 shootout, or the pole position shootout, the Fryer brothers in that Navy Health craft. So interesting too that we have two brothers in this form of competition racing together, and two brothers racing against each other as boat owners.
Yeah, exactly right. The Gilbert boys, of course, Adam Gilbert, owner of the Team 3, and Mark Gilbert, the owner of the Global Racing. The Kiwis pushing this boat very hard. And I tell you what, Wade, I reckon that Navy Health boat with the blue livery now, it just looks really clean. Looks like, I really like the livery on it. Looks terrific.
You think it looks healthy?
It looks healthy.
Looks naval healthy, I think.
Absolutely.
Back into the spectator side of things we come with the chopper floating over the top with a paramedic, a diver, basically on hand, ready to dive into the water. And we have had some moments where at this particular circuit that has been required.
Yeah, unfortunately it has, but everybody came out of that. Con, in fact, last year turned their boat Turtle, the SUV Dodge Ram. This corner here, Wade, and on the TV probably doesn't really do it justice, but this is very close to the crowd. And, being shot from the crowd area and up close and personal, and it is an incredibly tight turn for these massive big boats. And I tell you what, if we don't see a spin out here today, I'll be very surprised.
It's actually quite overwhelming when they turn and come straight at you before they take the next part of the left-hander to head back out to the open water. So take on board what you're saying. It's a great vantage point for spectators, for photographing, and really a chance to see these monsters of the deep, because that's what they are. Until you see just how big they are on a truck out of the water, you can't get your head around it. There goes Team 3, the brig entry, charging past the Salamini, the Quasi 2 actually. Haven't seen a huge amount of Quasi 2 until just that point right now. Jimmy Harris and Paul Folds, a couple of the great characters of the sport, a couple of Kiwis now living in Aussie.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's the whole purpose of the name of the boat, as we know. But yeah, I think they've got a problem with that boat, Wade. They're sort of wallowing at the back of the field, and that's very unusual for those guys. They're normally really competitive in that boat, so I'd suggest there's probably a little bit of an issue. Saracen doing a beautiful job, Anthony DeFeeder and the Lerminator, as I like to call him, Brett Lerman, man about town up there in Sydney. So they're doing a great job, running in second spot at the moment. Mancini out in front and doing it beautifully.
Very, very consistent boat, this team. They're very, very good at what they do. Great shots here of the choppers just coming in behind Global. Just riding behind this immaculate boat that would not look out of place in a Batman movie.
It certainly looks beautiful, doesn't it, Wade? And it's a beautiful looking hull shape, and then it's complemented by the terrific graphics on board. I'll be interested to have a chat to both these boys. You know, this is first time really in the, well, it is first time in the boat together for them. So, and it is such a team effort and a team sport that they're doing a great job to put this boat at the pointy end of the field at the moment.
Just saw too, a bit of a chat going on big time between the Salamidis boys just then as Dad gives some instructions to the young fella. We saw to the right the shot of the Throtterman just before. In fact, that's where they went. They're just obviously telling each other, hey, keep an eye out, he's on side of us. But the Throtterman has to watch gauges, whereas your driver's just watching where the boat goes, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. And you can see they're running the full Bedford bus steering wheel in that boat. It's the biggest steering wheel I've ever seen in my life. But obviously that's what they like and that's what they use. But yeah, absolutely. The throttle man is watching the trim of the boat. So obviously these engines trim in and out. So in smooth water, you want to trim the boat out, get the nose of the boat out of the water and get as little friction on the water as possible. Obviously, once you get into the big holes, you want to trim the boat down, get the nose nice and level, so when the boat does fly, it flies level and doesn't go nose up and land on its bum. So the throttle man's very busy with trim, throttle, and as you said as well, gauges, just monitoring engine temps, oil temps in the inboard boats as well, and everything else that's going on with them. The guy doing the steering, he's got a very important and tough gig. You know, he's trying to run strategy around the corners as we watch Mancini coming round on pole one there and accelerating away out of the bottom turn. So he's making sure that doing strategy around other boats, making sure he finds a turn buoy. What the perspective that we don't see here, Wade, is when these guys go into these big swells, because we're looking up from high from a chopper, we don't get the perspective. But what happens, it's like a mountain. You're driving up the mountain, you can't see the turn buoy. So it's when you get onto it that you actually see it. You come over the top of the crest of a big mountain and there it is. So you need to be on the money and you need to be in the right vicinity to actually pick the turn buoys up. And many an offshore race has been won and lost by missing a turn buoy.
Just look at this, great shots. Violent weather at times. Still, it hasn't stopped the resolve of these guys. They go either side of that marker just then. You can just see them, the Throtterman, looking down at the gauges there, looking a little bit seasick. We know he's not, but he's just keeping a close eye on some telemetry. And look at this, side by side, Navy Health alongside Global as we come into the harbour.
And this is the battle for the outright lead. Although they're running in separate classes, Wade, these boys don't want to get beaten. And in particular, the Supercat Extreme boat certainly doesn't want to get beaten by a 1,000 horsepower boat. So Navy Health, the Fryer boys, they'll be pushing for all they're worth as this race starting to wind up in time. They'll want to try and stay in front of that Global racing boat, but they've run the wide line, and I'll give you the tip, that Global boat with the number 6 drives, there it is. They've picked up a little bit of ground in the corner. They've made about 3 boat lengths, and the 1,000 horsepower boat just getting the numbers done on the Extreme boat at the moment, Wado.
It's a great sound too when you listen to them leaving that corner as they really have to throttle down. Here comes Navy Health. Gee, there's not much in them side by side. Navy Health gets a good run. The Fryer boys on the hammer now as they head out to the open water. Global side by side with Navy Health. Superboat racing going off its proverbial head here in Newcastle under stormy skies.
That hatch just refusing to give way as well on the Navy Health boat. We've got Team 3. They're running into second spot in the 1,000 horsepower category, third outright at the moment. And Big Stevie Jellick, have a look at him. He's as cool as a cucumber, Wade. Steve comes out of small boat racing, and he's one of the most widely respected offshore. Oh, sideways! Oh, fantastic footage. This is amazing, and I tell you what, the Fryer boys do not want to be beaten by the smaller 1,000 horsepower boat, but the Kiwis, they are just absolutely like a dog with a bone at the moment, Wade.
Great shots here, aren't they? We just see Saracen off to the left of your screen now. Saracen getting caught up in a bit of that swell, the 600 boat. Big air from Team 3. Mark Gilbert would be loving this. He desperately wants a win for his boat. He's invested heavily in it, that's for sure. As we see Navy Health, the outright, well, at the moment, the Supercat Extreme leader, but the outright leader right now in Supercat 1000 as well is Global, doing a great job.
Oh, they're pushing hard, and this is incredible stuff. I bet you these, the Navy Health boat didn't expect to be having to battle with one of these 1,000 horsepower boats, but the conditions are suiting them. The short track probably suiting them as well, and Global Racing doing a fantastic job as well. Just wanted to make mention as well, Wade, Spirit of Mackay, we got young Ryan Miller in his first ever race meeting in that particular boat this weekend as well. Now, they're a little off the pace. They're running about midfield. A brilliant boat. He's replaced Scotty Gehrman from last season. Scotty Gehrman, I get in trouble for mispronouncing his name sometimes. But Scott out and Ryan in, and Ryan doing a beautiful job. So it's great to see him up and about as well.
Another new face, which is great to see, that's for sure. We just saw the loner shoot very, very wide, trying to stay out of the way. And let's face it, why wouldn't you stay out of the way of one of this behemoths? Navy Health still with that hatch at the top, just still hanging on that cowling. You can see it now, just starting to really peel loose. We don't often see this championship held in overcast conditions. Well, the loner having to think, you know what, yes, he just went past me, but yes, he costs a lot more than I do as well.
And they're leading their category as well, so.
We go to some really remarkable destinations in this championship, and it's very rare that we get skies and weather like this.
Yeah, to run, you know, up the northern east coast, Wade. So obviously, you know, in fact, Newcastle is as far south as we go in the championship at the moment, with no race in Melbourne at the moment. But I know the boys are working on that, and we certainly hope to see one, because that's where I'm from, mate, and I want one on my doorstep.
Well, we have had them in Corio Bay before, yes, certainly, so it has been done before. We'll take a quick break here at Newcastle. Navy Health are pushing. Can they catch Global in this outright battle at Newcastle? Stick around. Welcome back, where it's always beautiful at Newcastle. Today is a very rare exception, but normally we're faced with brilliant blue skies, crystal blue water, and a very happy bunch of Novocastrians who are very proud of their city. There's always plenty of great things to see and do, both on the water and on land. Right now, we're on water It's teaming down from the top to the bottom right now, Dave.
Team Navying down, actually, at the moment, as they are in hot pursuit of the Global Racing team. So Global Racing, 525,000 horsepower boat, and they are actually leading this whole arrangement over this Supercat Extreme boat. And I noticed the port hatch on the front of the boat on Navy Health is missing as well. It is serious offshore conditions out here at the moment, Wade.
Okay, so for us land lovers, port
left. Port is red and should always be left at home.
There you go. The Quasi 2 entry. These guys, great characters. They just haven't been up to their normal speed this weekend. I just fancy something's not quite 100% right as the Brig Sirocco Marine entry charges on. Here are the boys, the Coastal Bolts and Fasters, Hog's Breath Cafe was the entry.
Had a beautiful steak at Hog's Breath too, Wade. Highly recommended. But the boys had a blown fuse in race number 1. They got that fixed, but there's still problems there. They are well off the pace in 600 horsepower category. Mancini is actually out in front of that particular class and absolutely smacking the rest of the field at the moment. They're starting to put a lap on other. Oh, we've got a problem.
Salamides for the second year in a row has dramas, though it's less spectacular, thank goodness, than it was the year before. You just see the Stockton Dunes in the background. Another great piece of Novocastrian tourism as these boys continue to charge. What a debut it's been for this class. Here's a replay of what happened to the Dodge SUV Dodge Ram team of Salamides.
Out in the ocean here, just going around the top turn here, Wade. So, oh, well, it looks like they've been hit. Looks like Mancini has tagged them on the way through, so I don't know what's going on there.
Do you think that the SUV boat slowed and the Mancini Cosmetics boat didn't see that then?
Yeah, very hard to pick up on that. But I'll tell you what, let's get back to this just for the moment because this battle is absolutely going on. Global Racing still holding it. Oh, look at the hose off, Wade. They will need, well, they won't need a shower for a week, the Fryer boys, after that one.
And it affected their line dramatically. Look how far off course they've gone because Fryers realised they couldn't see a damn thing, so they had to actually check back up. Dave, got to go back to that incident. We never see boats make contact like that, not front rear.
Very unusual, and well, you don't know what's gone on there. I mean, very hard to pick up who was off the turn buoy and who was on the turn buoy, but oh, look at that. That engine looks like it's laying over on its side, so the Evinrude E-Tech there looking a little worse for wear. Boys look like they're okay. They're climbing out of the cockpit, but there may be some words in the pits, and gee, the love in the relationship might not be all there, Wado.
You think they'll kiss and make up in the Mancini Cosmetics entry? You know what? If they do have any problems with Con, now here's a look at the replay right now. He's slowed up.
Oh yeah, that's a good hit, isn't it? And bit hard to tell, Wade. Looking at the turn buoy, it looks like Dodge Ram pretty much on pole 1. So whether Mancini were trying to be on pole 1 or were on pole 1, I don't know. Hard to call from that angle, but net result's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, devastating result for Con, unfortunately. If he ever gets out of that boat, he's going straight to the bottom. Have you seen the size of the chain that Con Salamudis wears around his neck? Mr. T will be looking at that going, hey, you Chris fool, you got my necklace. He's an amazing big chunk of gold around Con's neck, that's for sure. He's a flamboyant showman. I love it.
He loves it too, and he wears big hats too. We love that as well. It's an anchor, so he might go to the bottom.
Let's hope he doesn't. Here is a good battle for the lead outright. Global continuing to lead in Supercat 1000. They go by the little loner in the 400. And here comes the Navy boys.
Here's the hard charge coming down, Wade. And it is Team Navy. Look at that. They have found something out of the box as they storm down in to the bottom turn. And I tell you what, they're going to need to be on their game here. Let's hope they don't come in too hot and run wide and leave the door open for Global. This is last corner. This is going to be really interesting.
What a battle, how brilliant. Oh, they spun the thing out.
It's over.
You're joking.
It's over. It's over for Team Navy Health. They've spun the boat in desperation, Wade. And it's last corner. Global Racing, checkered flag comes out and they take the win.
Well, the Kiwis absolutely wrap with that, and so will Mark Gilbert. He'll be doing handstands on the dock. Checkered flag flies, and that is one of the most dramatic last corners I've ever seen. Well done to the loner.
Well, you don't get much more exciting racing than that, do you? The last minute lunge, the dive from Navy Health as they sit there dead in the water. That'll bring Team 3 home for second place outright and also second place in 1,000 horsepower.
Drama here at Newcastle. The boys are wrapped with Global. That'll give Mark Gilbert as a team owner I would think his first significant win in some time.
Yeah, that's the first one for the boys for a while. Let's have a look at this again. So Navy Health comes in hard. They've had to get it done last corner. The sponson bites in. The boat spins around. They back it in. Lucky it didn't go over, Wade.
Unbelievable shots there of the Navy Health boat. And there, the Fryer boys looking out the top going,
I think they're having a little giggle there.
We almost had that. Well done to these boys. The 88 team, the 88 offshore racing entry of Michael and Griff Ethel, the father and son combination, having a ball he would well think today. A strong result for them, of course, with the loner in the 400 class. Saracen, very strong again in 600s, but on debut, Brenton Price and Simon Isherwood getting the class win for 600.
With a little bit of a kiss as well, so they've come through and got the job done. I'd like to be in the pits for that conversation, Wade.
Yeah, it could be some interesting stuff too. Very lucky not to get much major boat damage, considering that. And have a look at that. The boys are absolutely pumped.
Wayne Velder pumping the fist there along with Chris Hanley.
Let's take a look at your Navy Health results. Pacific at Extreme, and Navy Health will actually get the win as a result of Maritimo Australia in the class DNFing and a DNS, unfortunately, for Maritimo Newcastle. Supercat 1000 Global Racing got the win overall and the category over Team 3 in that second place. So well done to Global. Let's look at 600. Interesting here. Mancini Cosmetics getting the win from Saracen, Spirit of Mackay, Quasi and SUV Dodge Ram. There's more on that. Seems to be some yellow card action. The loner will get the win in Supercat 400. Well done to those guys. Let's go down to the pits. Plenty going on there.
Plenty going on indeed as we see the Newcastle SUV Dodge Ram Young Con there looking at their damaged boat and looking a little bit devastated by the whole thing with the engine hanging off. So great that they got the boat back, Wade.
Yeah, but there's plenty of long faces in the pits. And I think Connor's a bit pumped up. Let's go down to him right now and find out what's going on.
We were coming out the marker right out at sea, and Mancini came right through the back of us, straight on the engines. So it just smashed into us. So
what did that feel like?
Yeah, pretty actually, because we were going really well, and yeah, there was no need for it, mate.
What's the damage?
Oh, well, ruined an engine, and you know, who knows what sort of damage to the boat. So we'll find out in the next couple of hours, I guess.
And finally, are you going to appeal?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It wasn't necessary. It's just mate.
They cut across the front of us, and we can't stop. Just come straight across the front of us and bang. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's racing.
Put him out of the race. Bit of damage to the motor.
It looks pretty bad. Ours got a few scratches on the hull, so luckily we didn't get like damaged that badly, but they had pretty bad damage, I think.
I have spoken to him. I think he's going to protest.
Well, we'll be fighting the protest because we're pretty upset, but I don't really want to go into it right now.
We sort of just held off a bit. We knew we could probably take him on the last lap. Yeah, coming to the last corner and went in a bit hot, just trying to beat him to the corner. And yeah, we sort of, Chris was on the steering wheel and railed it, and then yeah, just sort of back of the boat lifted up and it swung right around, and sort of just kept the throttles on and hope it didn't turn over in its sleep.
Oh yeah, I tell you, that's probably one of the hardest races I've had to date in 20 years of racing, and probably one of the most enjoyable at the end. I haven't screamed like that for a long time. That's one for the books, man. And Wayne, his first time in this boat, couldn't be more proud of him. He was throwing that thing around like he's been in it for 10 years.
And what a battle with that Navy boat. How many times did that lead change?
Oh, look, I wasn't watching. All those eyes were doing was worried about getting around the buoys. Shit, that boat was incredible to get around those corners. I'd never driven a boat like that before, but like Chris said, I've been racing for 25 years as well, and that would have been the hardest race I've ever done.
Did you think it was all over when they took you on that final straight?
No, we knew we could turn tighter on the final corner, so we just agreed, hey, we just need to go hot into that corner and get him back on the corner. And it was looking good, and unfortunately they spun out, so we don't know what the result would have been at the end of that.
Yeah, it was a great day for us. Weather suited us. Carl and I have both been doing this for a long time, so with the rough water we just nailed it and just kept the boat going. It was great.
How rough was it out there in the smaller boat?
Oh, look, it was really rough in the smaller boat, and the waves were pitching us right up, but it was great with Carl, with the experience, and myself on the wheel. We just sort of kept our own with the 600 boys, and it was unfortunate we just didn't have the horsepower, but it would have been a good day overall.
So after a bruising opening weekend of the Australian Superboat Championship, offshore superboat racing is just looking very, very healthy this year. What a battle with Navy Health. They're looking strong early. Global Racing sounding a warning, Dave.
Yeah, they certainly are, Wade. They are very, very quick indeed. That last race, just amazing, wasn't it?
I guess really 600 is going to be the championship to win this year. There's so many good boats in this field, and have a look how even and how consistent they really are. 400s, another strong result for the Loner. I think the Gripple, the Ethel boys, will really give these guys a shake this year as well in 88 offshore racing. Well, it had a bit of everything, Dave.
It had a bit of everything. It had rough water, it had smooth water, it had fast conditions, it had spin-outs, it had boats hitting each other. What more can you want, Wade?
Can't wait for round 2 at Bowen in Queensland in June. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be an awesome event. On behalf of Dave Fisher and myself, it's Wade Orn just saying, we'll see you next time, the Australian Offshore Superboat Championship, boys. Get after it. You know it'll be exciting.
Oh, how close do you want to get to the channel marker, Wade?
Here comes the Navy boys.
Well, it looks like they've been hit.
They spun the thing out.
It's over.
You're joking.
That's it for today's show. Speedweek will be taking a break next week as we make way for SBS's live coverage of round 3 of the Penrite Pro MX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. The teams and riders in MX1, MX2 and MX3 head to Gilman in South Australia while they'll continue the dirt track warfare. Live coverage commences next Sunday from 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you can check out ozpromx.com.au for more details.